talk to me about the Metaverse NFTs because this is what's getting everyone's attention. And I'll tell you a really quick
Yeah.
story. I've got a 17-year-old daughter, and if you ever dealt with teenagers, there's nothing easy about that situation. And I became the coolest dad in the world for about a week when I gave my daughter an NFT. Now,
Nice.
Michael, I could have given her a Porsche and I wouldn't have been as cool. But when I sent her an NFT on her MetaMask wallet, by the way, that I set up for her after she was a guest on this show, and
Nice.
she now has crypto. She now owns an asset at 17 years old. I'm sure you and I didn't own assets when we were 17.
No.
And
No.
now she has the NFT, and so many people are captivated by these currently low-level pieces of art that are being expressed as NFTs. What did you discover about this phenomenon from you
Yeah.
talking to the experts? How do you start having this conversation with people?
Yeah. So I start probably with the fact that the current use of NFTs is not where it all stops, right? This is just what gets traction. So one of the cool things about the intersection of NFTs, gaming, and the metaverse is that this is a really low key way for people to engage with the world of crypto. It's as much fun as anything. And so, this is a big onboarding ramp for Web3 and crypto is gaming. NFTs, though, they're non-fungible tokens, right? So they're one of a one. Anything that's a one of one can be represented by an NFT or be an NFT. NFTs and the metaverse. Well, maybe let's start with the big picture, right? What is the metaverse as well, right? So the metaverse, I think if you ask 10 people, we'll get 10 different answers. To me, it's the digital world where we go, and it gets more and more immersive as the technology comes. But then I talked to Dan Mates, who's a 75-year-old gentleman with more energy than you and I put together, who talks about the spatial web, right? So the spatial web is this kind of merging of the physical and the digital world. So it's almost like you took the metaverse and the real world, and you merge them together. But then, say in the future, when you want to research something, you'll go into the metaverse library and you'll pull a book down. Maybe, that's kind of the things that he's thinking of. What I found interesting is where the technology is today, right? So Elon Musk makes the kind of analogy that we're currently cyborgs. It's just the interface is our eyeballs to our phone. It's slow, and so we're you kind of say the same thing about the metaverse, right? We're working our way to a more and more digital experience in our lives. And so that's the metaverse. It could be virtual reality. It could be augmented reality. It could be where I'm walking around at a conference. We've both got the app on our phone. We're friends on the new social media platform that's owned by everyone. And I see a dot over here in my field of vision on my augmented reality glasses. It's got your name, and I'm like, oh, Brian's over there. I got to go say hi, right? So that's part of the metaverse, augmented reality. And then there's this concept of the spatial web. And Dan Mate shared a story about how they're taking an Amazon factory. They took an Amazon factory, they duplicated it in the digital world. So they made a carbon copy, but it's digital, right? Which is another trend inside of the metaverse. They applied artificial intelligence, and they improved, and they ran all these simulations inside this digital environment. They increased efficiency by 40% in the factory. They took the same concept with people in their training and put it into the digital world, and then ran simulations. And they took their training period from 2 days per new employee down to 15 minutes per new employee. So there's all kinds of technology that's in this space in itself. I think that gaming and these fun art pieces are where it starts, but there are a lot of real world applications in the business world, in the entertainment world, rewards programs, advertising.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to see some cool stuff happening, is with media and entertainment.
Yeah.
So it's a big spot. Oh, and then it's not just those things though, right? It's also it could go into identity, right? We touched on this earlier. Part of the DeFi and the Web3 challenge, sort of one of the critical puzzle pieces that I don't think anyone's really solved is the problem of identity, right? Identity is central to everything because it ties you to your medical data, it ties you to your advertising data, it ties you to your financial data, and it's a problem for people that we talked about earlier who may not have identity. And so it's a critical piece for us to really unlock the full potential of this is the identity piece. Well, NFTs are one of one, and I think we're both one of ones as well, right? So I could have an identity NFT that represents me in the digital world. And then that NFT, I was talking to one of the projects I looked at has NFTs that can then own NFTs. So you could have an NFT that controls these different segments of your data, right? One that you wouldn't mind renting out to an advertiser for discounts. Maybe you take your medical information and you can send it to any specialist and take it back without having to fill out a bunch of forms. Maybe you rent it to a medical research company, but it's all tied to your identity, right? And then you have your wallets outside of that. So that's a use case for NFTs. Mortgages, titles, all of those things. And there's profound implications of having mortgages and titles on a blockchain and the efficiencies that could be gained there, the disintermediation. So NFTs are going to be huge. They're going to be huge, and we're just getting started.
Wow, those are some fantastic stories, Michael. You sound like a man who's spoken with 50 different people over the